Hi, I recently started learning about AI agents, and one thing really surprised me. AI agents are everywhere right now. Everyone is talking about autonomous agents that can help, plan, use tools, and take actions on their own. But I had one question when I started learning about them. What happens when the agent gets it wrong? Because if ChatGPT gives me a wrong answer, I can ignore it. But what if an AI can actually book something, send an email, delete a very important files, which can make a blunder in a production? That's where things get interesting. Hi, my name is Roli Agrawal. I'm having more than 8 plus years of experience in software engineering, and here I am sharing my journey with all of you folks about AI engineering. So, let's take an example that I asked an AI, book me the cheapest flight to Mumbai tomorrow. It says, okay, done, everything is done. But it booked the wrong airport and a non refundable ticket. This is a very simple example, but now you guys must be understanding that it explains the fundamental difference between an AI assistant and AI agent. Now let's take into the second slide. Normal chatbot, if I ask what is the cheapest flight, it does not have the access of the tools. It just tell me the information. Okay, flight A cost 4,500 rupees. But agent has the access of the tools. It books the cheapest flight. It searches, it chooses, it books and pay. A wrong answer can be corrected, but you understand that a wrong action may have already been happened. So that is the difference between the AI assistant and the AI agent. So AI thinks, uses a tool, and takes a real world action. Now you try to understand the difference between if it is a very high impact thing. For example, it deleted the file which is in the production and it can lead to the blunder, then it is a very problematic thing. So there we need to understand it that AI agents are dangerous because it has the access of the tools and it can take the actions according to their own judgment. Now there we can take an example which we use in day-to-day report. For example, you can ask an AI agent, send the latest report to the team. Now agent is trying to basically help, but the problem is basically it took the bad decision where it can lead to the real consequences. It guesses the wrong file, it guesses the wrong people, and still it sends to anyway. So uh, so don't start with where we can be use an agent. So we don't go with the hype that okay, everyone is using that, we should also try to use that. We should understand the problem first. Okay, the problem is basically, let's take an example that support team spends 3 hours every day finding order information. Can automation reduce that time safely? And what is the business problem it is trying to solve? So always us and as an engineer, we should think about that what is the outcome we are trying to achieve it. Don't use an agent just because you can. So agent is basically useful when you know the problem and you know basically how it can help you. Just don't use an agent because it seems reliable to you or everyone is using. Now let's take it. Don't think the AI understands it like a human. For example, can you handle this customer complaint? Now agent says, absolutely, I will take care of it. Now you think that basically it sounds very assuring. It sounds very confident. AI can communicate like a person, but that doesn't meet his human judgment, common sense, or complete understanding of the situation. Not every action needs to be automated. So whenever we are working or even using the AI agent, we don't need to make it everything about the uh, e- basically. So where I was talking about that every action does not need to be automatic. So for example, here it is a very low impact that draft an email. AI probably can do it automatically, but there can lead to high impact when it can delete the data, it can deploy production, it can send the money where the human approval is needed. So we need to think about when the human checks are needed in the whole AI agent process. So how we solve these problems, like, so this is called basically the rules. So for example, like when we are doing something, that we ask the AI, clean up my drive. Now without guardrails it will say, okay, sure, I will delete the files, and some are very important files have been deleted. But if we put the guardrail one, okay, only access the folders it needs, only archive files older than 1 year, or basically review 10 files before deletion, don't automatically delete it, and stop if something doesn't look right. That's basically what guardrails are. We don't just tell the AI to be careful, we build boundaries around what can it can actually good. That's a very good example, or the very proper guideline we can have to solve this particular problem. And guardrails don't necessarily mean that a human needs to approve every single thing. It's basically AI drafts mail, send. It can be potentially automatic, but as I was explaining it earlier, it can lead to high risk if it will delete the files. But if we put a human reviews in between, then the process will not lead to any blunder. So basically the idea is not put every human in every step. The idea is to put human verification where the cost of mistake is very high. That's a very important distinction. So uh, here what it can only access so here I will be talking about that plausible does not mean correct. So for example, it says the capital of Australia is Sydney. Sounds confident. It's wrong. The system should verify important facts instead of blindly trusting the model. Think We should think of LLM as a probabilistic component because it generates a token, basically it generates the next possible action, not a source of guaranteed truth. Let AI propose and let the system verify. And honestly, right now, this started making sense to me when I looked at it from the engineering perspective. We don't trust every input, we don't let everyone access everything. It's basically AI agent drafts the email, check recipients and attachment, ask for approval if external and sensitive, and then send it. So basically, let AI propose it and let the system verify it. Don't measure how smart is the agent. Measure did the business problem is solved. So for example, I was talking about that the support team spends 3 hours a day finding information after time drops to 1 hour per daily. Safety is basically incorrect actions stay below an agreed threshold. Now we have something is basically real to measure. Also, don't try to build for maximum autonomy. Basically, I think we sometimes miss when we are talking about agent how autonomous is the agent. Maybe I build an incredibly autonomous agent. It uses 5 tools, it plans, it retries, it talks to other agent, it looks amazing a video. But if it does not improve the business outcome, what actually we have achieved it. So use the least autonomy needed to reliably solve the problem. Agents can be powerful, but power needs boundaries. Start with the problem, don't start with the hype. So, key takeaways are this: build boundaries, guardrails plus verification, measure results, business outcomes over autonomy. The goal is not more autonomous, the goal is more reliably useful. So, in this video, key takeaways is don't go with the hype, have the boundaries, and basically try to solve the problem which we can measure it and use it more reliably.